Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. Alright, welcome to Super Fun Sunday. Today, we are going to look at the master, the internationally acclaimed fantasy artist, Jean Giraud, aka Moebius. This will be a great video. I've wanted to do a video on Moebius for a month or two, and I had been kind of dragging my feet on it, but it just felt like it was a good time to return to his work. If you've never been to my channel before and you search, you will definitely find more videos on his art. I think it's, very visionary and influential, and it's just great looking stuff. And in fact, I just saw something I never ever noticed before, which is this little tiny figure down here. That's crazy. I've looked at this cover a bazillion times and never ever spotted that little guy down there. That is funny. So there you go. This is what's fun about his work, is you can always return to it and discover new things. So yeah, let's get into it. This book is out of print. It's very expensive if you're going to try to buy it on eBay, but the nice thing about his work is it's been collected in so many different iterations that most of these pieces you would be able to find in other books. So don't fret, and unless you've got deep pockets, I wouldn't go hunting after this book, and just pick up other collections. They are always going to be reprinting his work, and there's beautiful pencils, there's beautiful inked pieces, there's beautiful colored pieces. He does it all. So let's go into full screen mode. Welcome to Super Fun Sunday. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would highly recommend it. And for sure, check out my Patreon as well. Over 400 videos. $1 gets you full access. Link in description. All right, let's do this. We're going to go through the book kind of in an unusual order, but it'll be fine. So you're going to see in a moment the finished piece of this, but this is a beautiful little sketch and setup for this illustration. And the one thing I would point out is even in this simple sketch form, if you look at how he indicates the form, and there's a topography and there's ridges and like a flow and a form to this, is very important. I stress this a lot in my more drawing videos and stuff like that. You need to be able to fill this form, and if you look up here, do you see this wraps around and then it wraps around again? Little subtleties like that will make a very big difference in your art. And like I always say too, perspective and geometry is everywhere in art. Everything that you draw is little geometrical shapes, whether it's a face or a figure or things around your characters. You're going to need to understand how to draw just basic form. And once you have your basic forms down, you will start to be able to create worlds. But until then, you're probably just drawing a lot of surface stuff, which isn't bad, but you may not understand exactly what you're putting down. So it's important. This is a great little piece. I had shot about 20 minutes of this video and I scrapped it because it was not turning out exactly how I wanted. One thing I had mentioned on this piece is Jean Giraud would have been terrific at navigating something like Instagram now, because he did so many little just slices of life in his fantasy worlds, little spot illustrations, and a little daily doodle from him would have been just remarkable. So it's a shame that he's not still with us, because I really think that today's sort of quick hit atmosphere on the online would really play up to some of the stuff that he did. So these are early design sketches of that piece, and he talked about the proportions weren't really very spot on. There's two versions of this. You'll see a flip in a second. He didn't like the proportions of the piece looking at it in retrospect, and then also he felt the figure was a little too realistic. Proportions meaning the size relationships of things. And I agree on both points. I think that as he cartooned his stuff a little bit more and stylized it more, I think it became more appealing. And then just some of the size relationships are a little unusual here. The head's a little big, and just the length of things feels a little off, but it's not terrible. I think this one is more problematic, the hand and stuff. This hand's a little smaller, this one's bigger. But, like anyone, you get better as you do more, so this is a nice little piece. There was a piece that's going to come up. It's a Little Nemo in Slumberland piece. I would be curious if anyone knows what medium that they think he did it in. So I'll ask when we get there. This was a neat effect. I've actually seen this effect done, but never in this way. But it's very, very wild. So he has lots of vertical lines. And then he did this hatch right here. But he created this really, really cool effect on the guy's clothes, and depending on the size of your monitor and stuff like that, you're probably getting a lot of moire patterns, meaning that it's very lively when you look at this right now. I can practically see stars when I look at this. There's so much black and white, and it creates a lot of really, really trippy optical illusions. That's wild, right? Isn't that cool? Who needs Zipatone when you could do it with your pen? But yeah, that is really, really cool. That's fascinating. I just got a text. This is a 2-page spread, but we'll look at it in parts. But there's a character you'll see coming up here. But this is great. Again, beautiful colors. It's like man, it's just so good. It's so epic. There's a peaceful quality to his work that I like, and I think that's why I have been drawn to it lately. Is there's so much turmoil and tension in the world and stuff like that, and to look at just really ethereal fantasy art is quite fun and quite pleasing to the eye. And his work, I think, does have a relaxing quality to it. He's done many different styles, but generally speaking, there's this sort of quiet silence and sort of peacefulness to his work that's pretty fun and can really kind of sweep you away into it, which is nice. There's not a lot of Blueberry, if any Blueberry in here. Blueberry was a comic book series that he did, and not only can he do stuff like this, but he actually was a very, very disciplined storyteller and sequential artist, and did it at a very, very high level. Very complicated material that he was working on. It was a Western, and there's wagons, and there's towns, and there's people on horses, and all these things that really are quite challenging to draw, and he handled it expertly. So at some point I would actually like to do a Blueberry focused video, but I have done a book of Blueberry spot illustrations that he did. So if you look through my thing, it's a blue, very like navy blue colored book. I think the thumbnail probably would be a picture of it, but yeah, it's good. I think I have it in my office still right now. It's one of my favorite books that I own, which is saying a lot because I have a ton of books. But yeah, I bought it at Comic-Con probably 10 or 15 years ago, and it was like, man, I love it. It's a lot of portraits done in like watercolor and stuff like that, but of the Blueberry characters. This is really cool too. It almost had a little bit of an Avatar feel. The other video, I actually shifted the colors on it and turned it to more blues and stuff like that. And yeah, it was funny. You could really kind of see where something like this might have had a small impact on the designs for something like Avatar. This is cool. The Little Nemo and Slumberland stuff that's coming up is really, really incredible. Oh my god, it's so good. Bread and butter, how funny. This is some of the Little Nemo and Slumberland stuff. So what was interesting is just going through the pre-video that I had shot before I did this one, I had never actually really connected Winsor McCay to his work, although I probably was aware that he had done some Little Nemo and Slumberland. But he actually says in this book that he was never a fan of drawing architecture until he actually got into Winsor McCay's work, and I found that very interesting. And it made sense when I saw that. I was like, ah, shit, you know, I never really put that together. There's an Art Nouveau kind of vibe to Moebius's work, and McKay had it too. Like a little, like you'll see in a moment. This is a really cool piece. These are some interesting abstract pieces. He talked a little bit about, like, he had a phase where he did abstract paintings, and you know, I think sometimes abstract art can be misunderstood, but it actually is a very, very powerful exercise for your brain to try to do abstract art. But you kind of have to have some knowledge, I think, before you really go into it. It's one thing to do abstract art with no sort of There's no right or wrong. My point being is that if you can draw and then you get into abstract art, it's a more powerful journey than if you can't draw at all and you just do abstract art, because you don't really have like, it's almost like life experience, but just it's life experience with art. So, and when you finish doing a series of pieces and stuff like this, you'd be amazed at how much it actually helps this stuff. So I would highly recommend it to people. Giger did a series of pieces that had more brighter palettes and things like this. So here's some of the Winsor McCay stuff. But yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. There's a piece coming up that just blew me away. I thought it was so cool looking. And this is great too. Great clouds. And this is original, I mean, like traditional art, which is just incredible to me, that this somewhere is on an art board, either in a museum or at Moebius's estate or in someone's collection. But that is incredible to me. Here's some more of these pieces. Some prelims. They're pretty cool. And that's awesome. Man, it's so good. It's just a tighter shot of the other one. I don't know why there was so many. This is the piece. Look at this. I just thought this was so cool looking. I love this little spritz of like light coming through here. The way that the lighting is on the rocks. This nice gradation of color that comes through here. And it is just all win. It's a really interesting piece to me too, because it has an Akira vibe to it for me. I'm a huge Otomo fan. Honestly, it's like, it's very difficult sometimes for me to create like a top 5 list of artists, but artists that tend to hang out in that for me are definitely Otomo, Moebius, Frank Miller, and Mignola, and those guys tend to stay in that block. And I don't really go back to their stuff a lot. There's the funny thing. It's just I appreciate what they had done. Here's a really interesting little prelim. But I think their work is so powerful. It's better to just have a gist of it than to be obsessed with it. That's my own opinion. You can handle your influences the way that you want. But like for me, I actually kind of deny myself those artists. Because I don't want to be influenced by the work, other than the fact that I'm aware that it exists. So it's an interesting thing for me, but it's the way that I think that I have to manage it. I always tell my friend, someday when I retire, then I'll be able to go through their work and enjoy it more. And James, I hope you're doing well. My friend James, I mentioned in another video, he had a stroke, and he's in a rehabilitation center right now, but he's pretty fucked up. So I'm hoping that he makes a full return to his health. And so my thoughts are with you, James. This is a great photo of him working away. You can see he's got, it looks like John Wayne right there, and he's referencing probably his own work, and working on probably a Blueberry page. In fact, if you know the series, you might even be able to pick what it is. I love photos like this of artists where, especially if you're a big fan and you're like, oh my god, that was the moment that he did that page. Like, I know that panel, I know what this is, and I guarantee that there's people that are huge fans that could figure this out. It is interesting that he's got John Wayne there, though. This is a funny piece. His Little Nemo in Slumberland would have been very, very dark. Let's see it. So I can't guarantee that that's him referencing his own work, but it wouldn't surprise me if he had done other volumes of the book that he was maybe just checking costuming or gear that he had put on a character. But really, really interesting. Love photos like that. This is great too. So it's nice too. I had recommended to people that if you're a little intimidated by drawing, but have a desire to draw, is strip away all the detail and see if you can come up with little pieces like this, more like a doodle, that you don't have to know how to draw clothing as well. You don't have to know how to draw anatomy as well. You don't have to incorporate as much perspective. I mean, it'll all be there and it'll benefit you along the way, but everyone can doodle and come up with little things like this. So I highly encourage the attempt at it, because they're good muscles to build regardless, which is coming up with an idea and being able to put it down on paper in some way, shape, or form. And then, you know, as you get better, those muscles will become stronger, and you'll have way more of a library in your mind of like things that you can do well. And honestly, if you're not doodling and sketching, you won't really know what you're good at. I think most people have natural strengths in their work and weaknesses, but let's focus on the strengths. But yeah, you just don't know until you really explore. So when you explore, you may not realize it. I offer reviews, and I always can find great things that people are already doing, no matter what stage of drawing that they're at. And those are things that you kind of should celebrate in your work. And then, you know, you fill in the blanks. I suck at this, and whatnot, you know. And you build it up. This is really cool. I'm assuming this is a spread. Man, that is so awesome. It's a little bit of a blurry scan, but still, very fun piece. That's awesome. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, there's definitely a timeless quality to his work. I think that 100 years from now, 200 years from now, but I think that people will still be able to look at this work and appreciate it for its visionary qualities. It's pretty awesome. This is beautiful lighting here. What's funny is last night there was a full moon, and I was looking out over the horizon at about this distance too, maybe a little further away, but the bay was catching the moonlight, and it was really interesting seeing the light move across the bay with a big bright full moon, and Jupiter and Saturn blaring out there too. It was a pretty epic night. But you can see what I mean, that even these more kind of surreal pieces, there's a peaceful, almost like floating quality to his work, which is always very, very nice. And he did 2 issues of Silver Surfer with Stan Lee. So if you're a comic book fan and you've not seen those, I would hunt them down. They're cool. And he's done a few single pieces. They may be in this book, I can't remember, but Daredevil, Spider-Man, there's a few color pieces that he's done. This is a really neat little piece. This looks like a scene out of a video game almost. I feel like I'm going to go in here and start busting heads. These are tight shots of the stuff that we just looked at. It's a nice little drawing. This is cool too. Just looked at it. Oh man, look at those. Yeah, and he has a huge body of work. So there's always treats to be discovered. I like that. That's cool. It reminds me of the art for the Saturday morning cartoons, where they would do like noun is a person, place, or thing, or 3 is a magic number, or whatever. Schoolhouse Rock, I think, was the art. That's nice. Oh, that's cool. I like the blue cat. He's got lots of treats. Good for him. He's eating the fruit first, leaving all this stuff for later. Cool pillow. All this stuff is really cool. So most of this looks to be from the 80s. It's interesting. I didn't realize that initially. I'm sure that there's some that aren't, but that's funny. Wow, that's so cool. So this is interesting too, because this is a trend that I see now, and I would just give like a slight warning on it, is I know that there's a temptation to flip things. It can look really, really kind of so as nice as it is to do stuff like this. Damn it. The problem is it's like I would rather see you draw both sides. You can line it up this way, but to just flip the image and have the same exact background and all this on both sides, it always feels a little lazy to me and a little uninspired. So I don't know. I keep seeing it. It doesn't seem like it's going away. So your call on that, but I would go for at least drawing both sides and making them somewhat different and unique, as opposed to just a mirror image. These tools are here to help you make your art more efficient, but don't get lazy would be my recommendation. Lazy is never good. This is really cool. I like how he fluctuates his like line weights through here. This is a great little gesture with this guy too. His arms are very, very long though. If you actually look where his elbows fall. They're falling almost at the waist. That's a little bit off. It's not a big deal, but it is noticeable to me. Like I saw it right away that there was something up with this that was weird. But yeah, his elbows should sit a little bit higher. He's shrugging down, but you know, it's not the crime of the century, but it's just a little. This is really cool. Great doodle, man. Or, I mean, a very elaborate drawing, but man, it looks so spontaneous. But you put that nice colors on it, man, it just sells it. That is so great. Oh, it's awesome. Now I want to look at Otomo. Oh, this is really cool. Wow, I didn't even remember this piece. It's funny. It's so out of context because I've seen it in the book, but seeing it as just its own little panel is like, whoa, what is this? Oh man, there's the other half of this. What a great drawing. I like that. Oh man, this is cool. Very different style. It's like a lot softer. It looks like it was kind of the stuff that influenced Enki Bilal. That's really cool though. Man, this is great. Dude is so talented. It's kind of cool. And there's some Hendrix stuff in here too, which is pretty cool. Yeah, see this kind of like the like I was mentioning Enki Bilal, I could see where this was a little bit of the palettes and stuff that he seemed to gravitate towards. Looks really good, man. This is a nice touch. So if you check this out, how he did these little divots in the wall, you've got the main color, which is a gradation of this like light purple, and it kind of gets lighter as it goes down. Not much, but it could even be the color of the paper. It's a little hard to tell with the pixels, but he casts the shadow with a darker value, and then he hits this edge where the light is like getting hit. This light's coming from above, hits this rim, but it creates a little shadow here. But you see how effective that is at making it look like chunks of the wall are out. It's a nice effect. Oh yeah, this is the cover of the John DeFool stuff. This is an interesting piece. It'll pop up again. That's cool. I think that's John DeFool also. Yeah, John DeFool, 1984. Interesting. That was the first stuff I saw, not in 1984. I saw it in like the mid 90s, but yeah, pretty cool stuff. Wow, it's really neat. He's experimented with so many styles. This is a great drawing, man. Really solid. The forms are great on this. This is cool. Hello. Man, this guy was nuts. That's that again. This is cool. Airtight garage. I have all these little epic books. They're cool. I don't know how scarce they are. Like I said, there's been so many compilations of his stuff. Just if you're on a budget, just buy the cheap stuff for now, and kind of work your way up, and you'll cover a lot of ground with it. So you know you don't have to spend a small fortune. This is like it's got a Darrow level of intensity with the quantity of stuff. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if maybe they collaborated. I don't know. Let's see if there's any credit on it. Oh, it is with Jeff Darrow. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So this is one of an 8-plate portfolio drawn in pencil by a young American artist, Jeff Darrow, and then rendered in ink to color by Moebius. Damn. I don't know if I've seen all these pieces. If there's 8 plates, man, serve me up a plate. I'll take all 8. That's great. Look, oh my god, they ripped this book in half. This book is so expensive. The fact that I even see this is horrific. It's like, oh my god. But these scans aren't that bad, so it's like, you know, at least you get a vibe of the book. This is nice. Oh yeah. Oh man, that makes my heart hurt. Look at that. Huh, I'll have to look for these other pieces. It's funny because I'm sure I've seen them and never really put together that it was Darrow on them. I mean, this, like I said, I immediately went to that thought process, but I'm curious of what the other pieces are, and it looks great. I like his color palette on Darrow. It's crazy that Darrow was so driven to draw this much stuff. It's quite a commitment. Man, and again, somewhere this original exists. This is out in the world somewhere, and this would sell for so much money. Oh my god. I can't even imagine what this piece would sell for. It would be a lot. I would say minimum 50 or 60,000, and it could be up to even 130K just for this one drawing. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, this is cool. All you need is 2 crazy people. That's what we say in the biz. 2 bidders that want it. And as an artist, you will be happy. As long as you didn't sell it for $100 20 years earlier. Always keep the good stuff. Always keep the good stuff. It's your 401k. This Hendrix piece is cool. Oh, there's Jean Giraud. It's funny, for some reason this has like, I mean, it's probably more the other way around, but it has a little bit of like a Barry Windsor Smith vibe to me, but I think it's probably Barry was probably channeling some Jean Giraud at different points. But you know, honestly, why wouldn't Jean Giraud be a fan of Barry Windsor Smith? He's a great artist, so I'm sure that he was aware of his work and appreciated it. I would be shocked if that wouldn't be the case. This is so cool. I love Hendrix too. Oh, so good. And there's Jean Giraud, and there he is with long hair. Is a hippie. A damn hippie. I should hunt this down. It would be cool to have. Because I've never owned this. I don't even know if I've actually seen this in person. But I have a lot of Hendrix. That is for sure. That is cool, cool, cool. Oh, here's some of the blueberry stuff. We saw this definitely in another video, and I was oohing and awing over. There was a series of pieces. I don't know if they're in this book, but oh my god, they were ridiculous. All of them together, it was like a knockout punch from Hades. But man, he could draw Western stuff so good, and it's so realistic. Or you know what I mean? Like it has like this looks just like out of like a fancy Western painting you might see. And then he can do this stuff, you know. Fuck, so good. Well, I don't know about you, but this was an inspiring video. I'm psyched. I'm like really digging it. This is cool. Oh yeah. If that doesn't say 70s stoner art, nothing does. Corbin. All these great artists. Ooh, look at that. Dang. This is a cool little drawing. So let's see here. Influences noted by the artist include Max Ernst, who's awesome, Picasso, Monet, and Van Gogh, but he also includes Mad Magazine cartoonists such as Will Elder, who I'm not familiar with, but I do know Jack Davis, science fiction illustrators such as Ed Emshwiller and Virgil Finlay. I know Virgil Finlay, I do not know this artist. Interesting. Hal Foster is great. Alex Raymond is incredible. Phantom, Mandrake, and Brick Bradford. Interesting. And very beautiful work by Gustave Doré. Cool. Interesting. I'll have to peep some of those artists that I'm not familiar with. See, you learn something new every day, friends. Even me. You can't learn if you don't search it out, though. You know? We seek and destroy on this YouTube channel. That's really cool. That's nice. Let's see. I want to see how many more files. Oh, we got a lot. Okay, so I need to hustle. I have to get to work. I've got a deadline I'm working on. Batman can't wait. So we're gonna hustle through a little bit of this. Oh, it's funny. That looks like Travis when he was young. That's so funny. Oh my god. That looks like Travis, 1993. Before I knew him, but I'd seen photos. That's really funny. This is cool. Oh, I like this. But this has a little bit of a Winsor McCay feel. It's funny. I never put that together before. This is cool. I don't know why there's so many redundant scans. I guess they were just trying to show tighter shots and stuff. Desert vehicles. Oh man, that's so crazy. Creepy and crazy. This will take a while to upload too. Alright, we're getting there. Oh, this is nice. Oh, that's really cool. Very nice piece. The Art of Moebius. So yeah, really, really fun book, and hopefully you enjoyed the video, and for sure, check out my channel for more Jean Giraud and Moebius videos, and a lot of other great stuff too. You know, I've been on YouTube for 4 years. There's tons and tons of great videos, so never deny yourself an afternoon of artistic goodness going through the backlog. You won't regret it, and you might laugh along the way. Or not. Alright, have a great day. Let's get to the end of this, and there we go. This is a great piece. This was the original sketches that we were looking at the very front end of the video. Love this. This is so good. But yeah, have an awesome day. Check out some Moebius if you get a chance. Draw some little tiny people in your drawings. Give them fancy hats and stuff like that. Throw some stars in, and a little bit of Art Nouveau. Some beautiful colors. Got this. Alright, have a great day. I'll talk to you all later, and bye.